Welcome to Ipswich Living. I'm your host, Amelia DeVita. Today we're going to take a look at Division 7 in Ipswich City. It's a diverse area and takes in Ipswich Central, Woodend, Sadler's Crossing, Coal Falls, West Ipswich, Newtown, Eastern Heights and Silkstone. Throughout this episode, we'll learn about Division 7's cultural scene. We'll take a look at the beautiful parklands and the area's prominent leisure highlights. And later on in the show, we'll check out some of Ipswich's upcoming events. But first up, we'll take a look at Queen's Park, which has significance as one of the most beautiful major landmarks in the city of Ipswich. It's sure an interesting place.
My name is Mavis Wakefield and I am President of Glebe Garden Club Ipswich and Coordinator of the Glass House in Queen's Park.
Queen's Park contains significant heritage value not only for Ipswich but for Queensland. Queen's Park was the first to be developed in Queensland, being first surveyed in 1842. Visitors to the parkland will experience old world charm with modern day convenience.
The park is really a people's park and crowds of people come here. Weekends it really cannot find a parking place because of so many people come in. The park has many facilities to offer. I'll start by mentioning Nerima Gardens, which is a Japanese garden design, but using Australian plants, which is very unique, very beautiful. The other special place in the park is the Animal Nature Centre. And that is very attractive to children. It has recently been extended to twice its size. It has always been in the gardens, in the parks, since about 1936, but more recently, just in the 2002, it has been extended.
The Ipswich Nature Centre animal enclosure was built in 1936 and was home to a population of emus, kangaroos and ducks. Since then, the Nature Centre has seen many changes, containing many known, rare and threatened species with large quantities of otherwise significant plants and animals. Through the use of local plant and animal species, the Nature Centre hopes to provide awareness of the city's natural resources.
Of course, it has animals of Australian animals, particularly of many varieties, birds, reptiles, and contains an aviary that is a enclosed aviary where birds can live freely. It's a very large building. The other thing I could mention would be the playground, a very up-to-date and state-of-art playground for children, and that's very attractive to families.
The children's play equipment was designed to celebrate the rich mining history of Ipswich while providing an enjoyable and interactive environment for children to play.
We have a bush house that holds plants of the heritage listed plants too, some of them, and some orchids and ferns, all those subtropical plants, as well as the glass house that is, it was really used to propagate plants in the beginning, and it's an English style building and a heritage listed building, and it is now housed or filled with subtropical, tropical, equatorial and unusual plants. and it's a very beautiful haven to visit. And we do have many visitors. People come to the park by coach loads and then can survey the whole of the park and visit the rest of our historical city and buildings. Other places in the park are the croquet lawns, and that's very historical, and people who love to play croquet love that place. Queen's Park Cafe. It replaced the old kiosk that we had adjacent to where it is now, and it's a very beautiful building and it overlooks the city. Sit on the deck and look right down into the city, and the food is very delicious. And also a new building is the Education and Environment Centre, and that is a place where people can visit and see still life of the city, photographs and interesting things that come from our or live and come from our area.
The Environmental Education Centre at Queen's Park is home to information displays on Council's natural areas, flora and fauna. The centre is dedicated to educate young people and the wider community on the protection of our environment. The centre is open daily from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Also, there is a conference centre attached to that building where it's used for workshops or people who want to come and speak and hold meetings, conferences. It's quite new and very well used. I think because families have been always able to come here at no cost, regardless if it's depression years or good years, families have always come here. And in the very beginning, brass bands would come regularly, weekends, and entertain, and people would love that. They would bring their lunch or go to the kiosk and have something and listen to the bands. We do have a bush chapel that is used every weekend. Maybe 2 or 3 weddings happen on a Saturday and some on Sundays. I think it's compact. You don't have to walk long ways to get to any of the facilities. We've been through some bad times, but now the gardens are at their very best for a long time, and they are beautiful.
Coming up next on the show, we take a look at the Ipswich Art Gallery and see the How to Make a Monster exhibit. We talk to Councillor Antonelli about Division 7, and later on in the show, we'll look at some of the upcoming events in the Ipswich area. Welcome back to Ipswich Living. As well as having a rich history, Ipswich City's Division 7 has an extensive cultural focus. The Ipswich Art Gallery presents a dynamic program of exhibitions and heritage displays with complementary workshops, performances and family activities, making the Ipswich Art Gallery one of the most visited regional art galleries in Australia.
My name is Jade Williamson and I'm the curatorial assistant here at the Ipswich Art Gallery. The gallery is located in a heritage building which was originally the School of Arts, opened in 1861. Over a century, it was a centre for commercial, cultural and civic events until in 1999 it opened as the gallery it is today, after it was refurbished and extended out the back. So the heritage spaces offer a really great place to view our collection. The collection started in 1951 and it's developed significantly since its inception. The Freeman Gallery in particular is a great space to view artworks from the collection. A really good example is a painting by William Francis Emery, which was painted in 1961/62. It depicts a view of Ipswich from Limestone Hill. So the Freeman Gallery offers a great place for the people of Ipswich to visit, generations of families to visit together, to view important parts of the city's history and share it in the future. So up here in the Freeman Gallery we also have some fine examples of the first recorded cabinet maker in Ipswich, George Dowden. There are only a few known pieces and we have a nice selection up here, as well as some fine examples of woodwork from Queensland. We have some beautiful inlaid timber secret jewel cases which are on display here. So the gallery has really been an important part of the cultural development of Ipswich. And located in the CBD of Ipswich, it's a great place where people can just drop by.
Hi, my name is Dawn Ross. I'm the project officer at the Ipswich Art Gallery. The gallery has a range of diverse exhibitions that we hold throughout the year. One of the unique aspects of this gallery is that we have a dedicated children's gallery, so there's quite a lot of interesting and interactive programs that we have for local families and small children who are living around Ipswich. At the moment we have an exhibition called How to Make a Monster, which has been hugely popular and is extremely interactive with the children, and you know, to be honest, it kind of suits children and adults of all ages, which is quite interesting to see. A lot of the fathers that come through are kind of more excited than some of the little kids, which is quite funny to see, and quite lovely to see that the families can kind of enjoy the gallery together when they come through. How to Make a Monster is a interactive animatronic exhibition. There's various animatronic kind of displays showing how sort of behind the scene look at how it's done in the movies. There's various kind of familiar I guess characters that you would recognise when you come into the gallery, such as Inspector Gadget. We've got the crocodile from Peter Pan movie. We also have some of the scary but interesting looking aliens from Pitch Black. So there's quite a range of kind of creatures and monsters to look at when you come into the gallery. John Cox, he's responsible for a lot of the animatronics that are done in the movies that we have on display, and it's a touring exhibition from his workshop that we've got on display at the gallery. As well as the children's gallery, we also hold quite a lot of educational programs at the exhibition, as well as workshops, and we offer a lot of tours for educational students, whether it be primary school or secondary school. Teachers are welcome to bring the students to the gallery for a guided tour, depending on what exhibition or program is on at the time. Probably the unique aspects of this gallery are the fact that it's in a heritage listed building, which kind of holds quite a strong presence with the community, and people remember it when they used to come to see performances here when it was a town hall. So it still holds quite a strong place in a lot of people's minds and hearts as well within the community. As I said before, the children's gallery is a big draw card as well. It provides access and provides something for families to do on weekends and holidays. The gallery is open 7 days a week, so it provides, I guess, a kind of option for families if they're not wanting to go to the park or go see a movie. And because it's always changing, it's also always offering a diverse kind of group of programs and exhibitions that are on. So we find a lot of families are coming back multiple times to view all the different programs that are on.
The Ipswich Art Gallery is open daily from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. with free admission. The gallery is located in the city's beautifully restored Old Town Hall in Darcy Doyle Place. As Queensland's oldest provincial city, Ipswich has a rich history. It's renowned for its architectural, natural and cultural heritage. We spoke to the councillor of Division 7 about the city's charm.
I think what makes Division 7 unique is the fact that it is in the centre of Ipswich itself, where the CBD is, all the commercial activity, all the civic activities such as council, the council libraries, art galleries and all those sorts of civic functions, and the civic centre. I think there's a lot of charm in the historic areas of Ipswich, and I feel very privileged to represent that area, and of course the residents from that area who all have, I guess, that same belief that it's a lovely heritage city, and the inner part of Ipswich is quite unique in that sense. We've got lovely parklands, of course, Queen's Park, River Heart Parklands. I guess when you look at it, the history of Ipswich is actually the history of the CBD. Of course, the town hall dates back to the mid-1800s, and of course that's now our art gallery, and so that's adaptively reusing an old building. We've got some other historic buildings in the heart of town, including the post office, which was built in the early 1900s, about 1900 or 1901. And of course, when you go into the top of town, you see probably the most pristine and intact facades of the early 1900s up to 1920, and it's a beautiful environment, the top of town, something that we can all be very proud of.
Coming up after the break, we look at some of the up-and-coming events happening around Ipswich City, as well as get an insight into the Nirima Japanese Gardens in Queen's Park. Here are some exciting events coming up for you to be a part of. The Ipswich Festival is on from the 18th to the 29th of May and will feature the best performers from the region who will join with the nation's major artists in a 14-day celebration. For full details, go to ipswichfestival.com.au and make sure you're a part of this exciting time. Experience the excitement and the unique atmosphere of the Ipswich Cup on Saturday the 18th of June. It's Ipswich's social event of the year with racing, fashion, colour, fun, excitement and don't forget the after races concert, all making up the party of the year. So don't miss out. For more details, head to ipswichturfclub.com.au. The Ipswich Art Gallery is currently exhibiting How to Make a Monster, the art and technology of animatronics. Discover the skills and processes involved in bringing a creature from the written page to the silver screen in this fascinating behind-the-scenes exhibition. The exhibit is free and runs through to the 29th of May. For opening hours, go to ipswichartgallery.qld.gov.au. Nirima Gardens were inspired by Ipswich's sister city, Nirima, in Japan. The relationship between these cities has been captured in the authentic Japanese design, which balances local characteristics and natural elements to create a calming retreat from the outside world. These gardens are a great place for kids to learn about a different culture, and it's an ideal place for the family picnic. The garden is free to enter and to explore.
Hi, my name's Denise Hanley. I've had a very long association with Nirima Gardens. My first association started when I was Deputy Mayor of Ipswich City, and we had a very strong relationship with the Nirima Council. 1995, after several years of visits by delegations from Nirima, in 1995 we established a sister city agreement with them. Their mayor came out here and on a couple of occasions, and then our mayor went to Nirima in 1995 and signed a formal agreement. In 1996 we looked at how we could develop that agreement, bring the friendship a little closer, and we thought about, we were doing a plan for Queen's Park at the time, and we thought perhaps having a garden here that represented the Japanese, friendship that we have would perhaps close the ties between us a little bit better. In Japanese culture, if you look at a rock, it's not just a rock. They have male, female rocks, so they have to be placed authentically to mean, to make the gardens have that meaning. And the different areas that when you look around the gardens have those significant pieces. The bridges, the stones in the garden behind here, all of that was done with their sort of expertise, so that you created something that was very genuinely a Japanese garden. Well, stage 1 was opened by the Mayor of Nerima in May of 2001. So that was the completion of the first stage, and they came out with a fairly strong delegation, both from Rotary and from the council, and they officially opened stage 1. Stage 2, a couple of years or so later, we started to prepare for stage 2, and again went back to Nerima with our plans for stage 2, and it went from I guess stage 1 takes you halfway into the park, and stage 2 then went the next half of the park, and had more bridges and other grassed areas, and more of the trees and shrubs and the like. That was formally opened, and then a year and a half ago, discussions started in relation to the tea house, and the Nerima City Council, together with the Rotary Club, organised for an authentic tea house to be sent to Ipswich, and the construction of it occurred. Our people did the final construction of it here, and then they came out and opened that formally as well. So, the tea house, just by the nature of a tea house, has to be closed and only opened for formal occasions. The tea house has the very authentic, what they class a tatami mat, and it's very expensive to purchase tatami mats, and so they can't leave it open all day every day when the gardens are open. It's something that would be very difficult to replace, and it has to be preserved for those formal occasions. The tea ceremony is culturally very significant, and the person conducting that has to be fully appreciative of what the meaning of that ceremony is, and it's all conducted in a particular manner, and so it really can only be done by someone who has been trained. And in Japan, the ladies who do the tea ceremonies have had quite an extensive training before they can do it, and so you wouldn't just let anybody come in and do a tea ceremony. If you look at most Japanese gardens in their own home country, they are designed to represent something significant in the area in which they're built. And so here, what we did was looked at the scenery around the regional area of Ipswich, so Flinders Peak, around that area, and it's a very beautiful area of Ipswich. So the mounds in the gardens here were constructed to signify the Flinders Peak area, and there was a very large tree that was central in the park area here, and the centre point of the garden was around that particular tree. So if you stood at the front gates of the gardens and you looked into the garden itself, the tree was certainly a focal point of the gardens.
Well, that's all we have time for this week. Tune in next time for all the highlights of Division 8 as we explore all that Ipswich has to offer. I'm Amelia DeVita. Goodbye.